going to read Ruby the Copycat by Peggy Rathman. And so I'll tell you guys what you need your cards for later. But, alright, here we go. Alright. Monday was Ruby's first day in Miss Hart's class. Class, this is Ruby, announced Miss Hart. Ruby, you may use the empty desk behind Angela. Angela is the girl with the pretty bow in her hair. Angela smiled at Ruby. Ruby smiled at Angela's bow and tiptoed to her seat. I hope everyone had a pleasant weekend, said Miss Hart. Does anyone have something to share? I was a flower girl at my sister's wedding, said Angela. That's exciting, said Miss Hart. Ruby raised her hand halfway. I was the flower girl at my sister's wedding, too. What a coincidence, said Miss Hart. Angela turned and smiled at Ruby. Ruby smiled at the top of Angela's head. Class, please take out your reading books, said Miss Hart. At lunchtime, Ruby hopped all the way home on one foot. When Ruby came back to school, she was wearing a red bow in her hair. She slid into her seat behind Angela. I like your bow, whispered Angela. I like yours too, whispered Ruby. Class, please take your math book up. Take out your math books, said Miss Hart. On Tuesday morning, Angela wore a sweater with daisies on it. At lunchtime, Ruby hopped home sideways. When Ruby came back to school after lunch, she was wearing a sweater with daisies on it. I like your sweater, whispered Angela. I like yours too, whispered Ruby. On Wednesday, Angela wore a hand-painted t-shirt with matching sneakers. After lunch, Ruby hopped back to school wearing a hand-painted t-shirt with matching sneakers. Why are you sitting like that? Whispered Angela. Wet paint, said Ruby. On Thursday morning, during sharing time, Angela modeled the flower girl dress she wore at her sister's wedding. Ruby modeled her flower girl dress too, right after lunch. Angela didn't whisper anything. By coincidence, on Friday morning, both girls wore red and lavender striped dresses. At lunchtime, Angela raced home. When Angela came back to school, she was wearing black. On Friday afternoon, Miss Hart asked everyone to write a short poem. Who would like to read first? Asked Miss Hart. Angela raised her hand. She stood by her desk and read. I had a cat I could not see because it stayed in back of me. It was a very loyal pet. It's sad we never really met. That was very good, said Miss Hart. Now who's next? Miss Hart looked around the room. Ruby? Ruby stood and recited slowly. I had a nice pet who I never met because it always stayed behind me, and I'm sure it was a cat too. Ruby smiled at the back of Angela's head. Someone whispered. Ruby sat down. What a coincidence, murmured Miss Hart. Alright, so before we go on, do any of you guys have any little brothers or sisters or somebody that has copied you guys before?
Yeah.
It could be anybody who's copied you guys before. What did you guys think of that?
I was like, oh, quit copying me. You're annoying my brain.
That's it?
Like I would like tell her to stop, and she would, like my older sister, I would tell her to stop. She would never stop.
Yeah.
And I would just be quiet for a long time. All of a sudden, she would start talking. I would copycat her.
What was you, Jalen?
I have a little sister. Her name's Chloe. Whenever I say something to my sister, she's like, "Yeah, Jay."
That's pretty funny. All right, so I'm sure you guys all have good stories to tell, but we're going to continue with our book. So, Lori, I'm going to read this much to you. Angela scribbled something on a piece of paper. She passed it to Ruby. The note said, so now with your piece of paper, I want you guys to imagine that you were Angela and you were writing a note to Ruby.
Okay.
And what would you write on your note? So I'll give you guys a little bit of time and write it down. And then when you're done,
Which one?
we'll share it with the partner.
Angela's that girl that sits back with the blonde hair.
If Angela's the girl with the bow in her hair, and Ruby's the girl who's copying Angela, so you guys are pretending like you are Angela, Writing a note to Ruby.
Writing a note to Ruby.
Yep.
That's definitely some stupid stuff.
Alright, so when you guys are done with your note, you can turn to somebody next to you and you can share your notes with each other and what you would say.
Stop. What did you say, Jaden? Nothing. I don't have anything either. I couldn't find anything. I don't know. Max, what did you say? Here.
Alright guys. Okay, so Riley, what did you put for your note?
Stop copying me.
Stop copying me. How about you, Logan?
Oh,
What did you put for your note?
you copycat, you're not me.
That's good. Alright, so I'm sure you guys all have really awesome ones, but we're going to continue to look. So, I'll read this again. Angela scribbled something on a piece of paper. She passed it to Ruby. The note said, "You copied me. I'm telling Miss Hart. P.S. I hate your hair that way." Ruby buried her chin in her collar, or in the collar of her blouse. A big tear rolled down her nose and plopped onto the note. When the bell rang, Miss Hart sent everyone home except Ruby. Miss Hart closed the door of the schoolroom and sat on the edge of Ruby's desk. "Ruby, dear," she said gently, "you don't need to copy everything Angela does. You can be anything you want to be, but be Ruby first. I like Ruby." Miss Hart smiled at Ruby. Ruby smiled at Miss Hart's beautiful, polished fingernails. "Have a nice weekend," said Miss Hart. "Have a nice weekend," said Ruby.
Oh no.
What do you guys think is going to happen?
She's gonna polish her fingernails.
She's gonna copy the teacher.
I guess we'll have to see. All right. So on Monday morning, Miss Hart said, "I hope everyone had a pleasant weekend. I did. I went to the opera." Miss Hart looked around the room. "Does anyone have something to share?" Ruby waved her hand. Glued to every finger was a pink plastic fingernail. "I went to the opera too," said Ruby.
Oh.
"She did not," whispered Angela. Miss Hart folded her hands and looked very serious. "Ruby, dear," said Miss Hart gently, "did you do anything else this weekend?" Ruby peeled off a fingernail. "I hopped," said Ruby. The class giggled. Ruby's ears turned red. "But I did. I hopped around the picnic table 10 times. Ruby looked around the room. "Watch." Ruby sprang from her desk. She hopped forward, she hopped backward, she hopped sideways with both eyes shut. The class cheered and clapped their hands to the beat of Ruby's feet. Ruby was the best hopper they had ever seen. Miss Hart turned the tape player on and said, "Follow the leader. Do the Ruby hop." So Ruby led the class around her room while everyone copied her.
What does she want? Like, stop copying me.
At noon, Ruby and Angela hopped home for lunch. So, I want you guys to stand up, right where you're at,
Oh, I will.
and we're going to have 30 seconds of hopping. You guys can hop anywhere you guys want. You can hop on one leg, you can hop on 2 legs, you can hop on 1 foot, you can do whatever you want. Everybody's got to stand up.
I have to find something.
This is gonna be fun.
All right.
Ready, set.
All right, go.
This is me should do it.
30 seconds. We hop on.
Don't try this at
Bring it
home.
back in. Let's bring it back.
This is me.
You should have done your assignment, though, that he had to do.
You should put that on me. I'm on 30 seconds for Mrs. B.
Alright, bring it back in, guys. Alright, so that is the story of Ruby the Copycat. And you guys are pretty awesome just the way you are. You don't have to copy anybody. So that's the moral of the story. So thanks for listening.
Is it okay if we read Angela the Copycat?
I don't know if there's such a book, but if there was, I'm sure it'd be okay.